Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Mata Kali, Jai Mata Kali, Jai Mata Kali. Om Kali Om. Jai Kali Ma, Jai Durga Ma. Om Krim Kali. Om Krim Kali Namaha. There is only love. Om Ashrima Rama. Bhakta Om Shakti Ma. Hail Mary, full of grace. We are all one. Welcome to the live stream. We are celebrating Navrātri, the goddess festival in Indian Sanatana Dharma, Indian culture, Indian spirituality. This is the Vedic tradition. The seers wrote the Vedas, the original text of, say, Hinduism. Were also master astrologers, and they pegged this time that we're in now as the time where the goddess energies are most easily connected to and the most powerful. So like many of these things, like I think, okay, well, there must be something there, and but I can't know unless I check it out myself. And if I don't feel anything, it doesn't mean there's nothing there. It just means there's nothing there for me at that moment. It's not like I disbelieve it. But often, especially when there's Indian mystical spirituality involved, I'm usually feeling something. So during my initial Kundalini awakening, I was with a lovely group. And really, like, wow, I think about them all the time. They're just amazing people, like all masters or budding masters in their own right, all aligned with the Shakti some way or another, offering healing and movement of consciousness and fun and all sorts of gifts that the Kundalini brings. And this was so many people who were living those gifts, being lived by those gifts. And whatever started to come through here was really yogic. I started chanting to Ma almost immediately, and soon I just felt like I needed something more in the Sanatana Dharma, in the Hinduism, in the yogic stream, that I was more aligned for whatever was happening in my being, through my being, blossoming in my being. It needed to be nurtured in the proper environment, and although the environment I was in was awesome, something was not quite watering what needed to be watered. Yeah, and if I look back on those times, it was a good intuition there. Because then the expression became super yogic and super Jema, of course. And I had no prior history with all that. I mean, I read about it, but I read about lots of things. So I had no particular affinity for Kali or Divine Mother. You know, I just accepted it all and thought it was all beautiful, and whether it was Krishna, Radha, Kali, Shiva, all the different forms. Yeah, I just found it interesting and alluring and deep and fun. But when the Kundalini awakening began, it was really guiding me towards this expression. And why, who knows? The Kundalini guides people to their star ancestry and their star connections. I was watching an amazing video the other day of this woman's Kundalini awakening that led her to realize herself as a star being. And yeah, it seemed totally authentic to me. Her Shakti was strong for sure. And yeah, so it can go in any direction, you know, like Kundalini is not limited to Hinduism. It's present in most mystical paths. It's present in Sufism. I looked that up, and from what I understand, I could be totally wrong. I'm not experiencing it that way. It's what I've read, but something rings true. Is that the Shakti in Islam, in the Sufi Islam, is Fatima, the daughter of the Prophet, the Shakti. So there's some Shakti in there too. How could there not be in Sufism? And so Shakti, Kundalini, present everywhere, not limited to one religion or one culture. Nevertheless, people will be pulled, or the gravity, the Shakti GPS, the tractor beam, will pull you into a certain expression that's your expression. You're blossoming in this body, in this lifetime. And you can say the job of the intellect is to get out of the way, but also to follow the Shakti GPS. Like intellect, good. Use it to follow the Shakti GPS. Learn to know the signs, learn to feel it out, learn to analyze what's going on, all that, and then just intuit and surrender. So the intellect is serving your awakening and not getting in the way of it. Give it. I always say, give the dog a bone. Instead of condemning the intellect or ignoring it or whatever, like it likes to analyze and figure out and calculate and probabilities and things like that. So let it do that. It's fun. Likes it. If the dog likes to play with the bone, give the dog a bone. And occasionally the intellect comes up with some good stuff. So we're not anti-intellectual here. But we are really grounded into spontaneity and intuition and love. So we are, it's funny, you know, there's one school of yoga called Jnana Yoga. It means the yoga of knowledge. And the way most people understand this, who've done a little sadhana with it or research with it, is who am I? The famous question by Sri Ramana Maharishi. And then you just keep going on that thread until you get to I am God. So that's been popularized as the yoga of knowledge, and that Ramana is a jnani, one who knows himself, but through this path of knowledge. But of course, Shakti, Kundalini is involved in it too, and Ramana wrote about as much. So knowledge, you know, what is knowledge? It's not intellectual knowledge. Yeah, it's not intellectual knowledge. One who knows. One who knows. Knows what? Knows who he is or she is. So any path can give you this knowledge, any authentic path of Kundalini can give you the knowledge of who you are. You don't have to follow a specific jnani path. Kali will also give you knowledge. There is only love. Oma Jema Vama. Bhakta Om Shakti Ma. Hail Mary, full of grace. We are all one. You see, intellectual knowledge is good for debates. It's good for the ego. It's good for the mind, or the intellect, we can say. But in spirituality, it's can get in the way, What you think you know, the way it has to be. So we really here guard against that tendency and trying not to think that we know it all. No matter how much we've experienced and how much wisdom we've accumulated and what miracles abound and, all that stuff. Still humble and open before the great mystery, before Ma's love, and anything could manifest or happen in any direction at any time. I mean, that's life anyway, right? It's just the mind likes to think there's like space-time and linearity and one follows the other and cause and effect, that's the word I'm looking for. I can't even remember cause and effect. Yeah, the mind would like to see cause and effect. And if one really drills down into that subject, it's more like a tapestry revealing itself. If there's no space-time, then how can there be cause and effect in the linear sense? It's all happening, and you are part of that happening. And it's all happening. And that happening is so multidimensional, so beautiful, so mysterious, so far out and groovy, so flabbergasting. One cannot have ultimate knowledge of that, really. I mean, I say cannot. It would be hard to believe that one could have ultimate knowledge of all that, the mystery, Kali. But one can have glimpses and experiences and feel into that. And as we get more and more aligned with that, we start to exhibit signs of the mystery without the intellect knowing anything that's going on. In fact, in my experience, the intellect is the last to know. Like something will be going on for a couple months and then we'll look at each other here and say, hey, I think this has been going on for months. What do you think? They're like, totally. Like, how do we not see that? So, the intellect's like that, especially when it comes to the mystical. Om Jai Madhava, Bhakta Om Shakti Ma. Hail Mary, full of grace. We are all one. One being, one light, I am. Om Jai Ma Shri. Bhakta Om Shakti Ma. Vama Kali. Who is Kali, People think that they know about her because of her depiction, her iconography, but usually their perspective is quite colored by their cultural conditioning and therefore maybe not so encompassing. For me, in my experience, Kali is the Maha womb, the Mahayoni, the creatrix of all. Everything manifests from her, is her, and folds back unto her. Yeah. Including us. We're Kali and drag. Om Jai Ma, Om Jai Ma, Om Jai Ma, Om Jai Ma, Kama Devi. Om Jai Shakti Ma, Om Krim Kali. Om Krim Kali Namaha. Om Krim Kali, Om Krim Kali, Om Krim Kali. There is only love. So nice to see some old friends and some new friends here joining today. Thanks for celebrating with us, sharing your time and your energy and your love in this non-practice practice of devotion. Yeah, bhakti isn't only kirtan. Kirtan is an expression of bhakti. But all bhakti starts in the heart. Yes, your very own sweetheart. It's the yoga of love. The yoga of love. But it doesn't mean you can't be a yani also. Bhaktas can be yanis, of course, and yanis can be bhaktas. There are examples of that, very well known through history, strict Vedantists who also worship the Divine Mother, worship Shakti. Seems totally incongruous and therefore very authentic. Om Jai. Many people in the West especially get hung up on sovereignty and thinking that they're giving their power away. It's something you hear a lot in New Age circles. But power is everywhere, like the power of love, and it cannot be given away, and no, it doesn't work like that. I mean, if you think it works like that, it probably does, but in the big schematic, no. And surrender seems like the last thing you want to do, the last thing the ego wants to do. But the meek shall inherit the earth. Be as children to enter the kingdom. Some wise words, no? Does it ring true for you? And if it does, then the yoga of love and spontaneity and intuition align perfectly with becoming all you can be in this human existence. You can say, like Shakti, Sri Kundalini has a unique expression for each of us. Do you want to find out? Do you want to know? Do you want to experience what that is? Not everyone's so interested in that, but I want to see where this goes. And I'm all in. Jai Ma Jai. Kamasa Vama Om. There is only love. Kama Devi. Kama Shakti. Om Ma Jai Jai Ma. Bhakta Om Shakti Ma. There is only love. Om Ma Jai Ma. Om Ma Jai Ma. Kama Devi. Om Ma Jai Ma Om. Each day, each meditation, you can feel the grace, the power of love, Sri Shakti coursing through your being and making improvements. Yes, like the ultimate blessing. You can see feel, hear, experience the change in the throat every day as you sing. You can notice energetic and physical blocks in the body loosen up suddenly, or suddenly more energy. Does anyone remember defrag? That's the way Windows used to clean. You used to have to push the button and then it would work in the background and fix something, I don't know. Defrag? Maybe it was with MS-DOS and even before Windows. Who knows, I can't remember. But that's like Shakti. She's working in the background all the time to fix all the programming. Not back just to original issue, but even upgraded into light. Subtle, divine, beautiful light. Yes. Shakti is the power of evolution, of course. And especially the evolution of the human being. There is only love. One being, one light, one love, I am. Om Ma Jai Ma Shri. Bhakta Om Shakti Ma. Hail Mary, full of grace. We are all love. Om Jai Ma. Om Jai Jai Ma. Om Jai Ma. Kama Devi. Om Prima. Om. Jai Jai Ma. This yoga is very different than what most of us are used to, what we've been exposed to. It is, instead of the yoga of the will, it is the yoga of surrender. Your Kundalini awakens through grace, through Ma's love, and then you surrender to the Kundalini, and it guides you mystically, beautifully, perfectly through your blossoming to the next stage of evolution for you and humanity. It sounds simple, but there's a lot of cultural and individual conditioning about surrender and humility. Even people say the word like woo-woo, this word came into the lexicon somehow, just dismissing everything mystical as somehow not real and weird. Wow. And then people are using this word all the time and dismissing everything as that, or trying to justify that it's not that. Wow. So much conditioning. So we have such a conditioning, skepticism. It's a big tradition in the West, right? Philosophically. And to be a skeptic actually is kind of sucks. It doesn't mean you should be naive or foolish. But to be a skeptic is like to be in doubt, or to be in criticism or withholding or non-open, non-relaxed. The energy of a skeptic is quite usually aggressive. And it's not open for sharing and greater understanding and communing. So skepticism is every bit at the door. Empiricism, checking it out, and that's more neutral. And of course, empiricism, yes. Seeing how you feel every day, seeing where things can be surrendered into further, where you're still resisting, where blockages or triggers or denser emotions or persistent thoughts, memories arise, what conditions they arise in. And just by shining the light of awareness, loving awareness, why not being unconscious about them, but being aware of them. Who's aware of what, right? The Kundalini aware of itself. They start to dissolve. As long as they're at the unconscious level, they probably just grow. But when the light of awareness, your loving awareness, can sit with them and let them be, usually they're coming up to be healed. That's my experience. So by ignoring or suppressing or running away from or being angry at or whatever, just fuels them. Whereas one can sit with it and shine the light of awareness, loving awareness, most things dissolve. Especially with Shakti. Yeah. It's the secret sauce to all yogic practices. Om Jai. Vamakali, 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 Om Jai Jai Ma. There is only love. Om Jai Ma. There is only love. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. It's not always easy for the being to follow Shakti's guidance, to really release into it and not care what anyone else thinks or says or celebrates or condemns or ignores or runs to hug you or runs away. Just letting that all go. And internally, what do you think of yourself, your own fears, your own desires? Just letting it all go and just allowing it, everything, the grace to flow through, trusting that grace more than your conditioning and intellect. So sometimes that can put one in very challenging situations, but those challenging situations are like, the grindstone. Yeah, it's challenging because some resistance inside you, and you're having that experience, especially when the secret sauce is active, to heal. Sometimes I would find myself in extreme situations and just to sit with the Shakti. I once went to a workshop. There was something for me there, so I went. And during that week, I had made a vow to myself that I would no longer add fuel to my story, that's just some ego trip. And I'm here now. And I can tell you my name. Even where I'm from, we'll just create some kind of filter. Can we just be here with one another with just our names, or just be with one another with no stories? Just feel. So I got to this workshop, and of course, you know what happened. The first thing is they want to hear our story. And it wasn't just some intellectual thing. I also felt like the Shakti guiding me, like, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. You don't have to. It doesn't matter. You know in your heart, this is not the time for that. You had just been contemplating this the night before. This is the opportunity. And so when my turn came to tell my story, I said, I could do that, but I'm not going to. Because you will not know me from that story. It will just be some kind of distortion. So can we just sit here in love, in joy, in now? And is that okay? Well, it wasn't okay. For me it was okay, but for the people there, they were outraged. So interesting, huh? So then, it's so fascinating and such an extreme experience, but so juicy. So as I was being condemned, I don't know why that took that turn, but people were not down with my not participating in that aspect of the workshop. So there was a lot of tension and aggression coming my way repeatedly. And I noticed that my ego was going to deploy certain strategies to win, because that's what the ego wants to do. So the first strategy was leave. So like, when you're a kid and you throw over the game board and you walk out the door because you're about to lose. So it felt like that, like, screw this, I'm out of here, I'm not playing anymore. So I saw that strategy, and it seemed very attractive. But there was no Shakti GPS in it, no rasa, no juice. So, can't do that. Next strategy that appeared was outwit and outsmart everyone there. Using humor, philosophy, use your intellect, and win. Still win. Win intellectually. And so I saw that potentiality from the ego, suggestion. No rasa on that either. It doesn't seem fun or aligned. No, I'm not going to do that either. So what's left? The Shakti GPS said, do not move. Do not move and do not speak. Do not act from any place that is not the Shakti. So no matter what anyone says, even if they drag you out of there, it's a reoccurring theme in my fears. Maybe some past life for that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is you have to stick with what you know, what your Shakti GPS is telling you, and whatever happens, it's going to be perfect. But if you deviate from what you know in your heart and your Shakti is the most expansive course of action, even though it may not seem it to your ego, then you're just like defeating the whole purpose of your sadhana. And honestly, like, what's the big deal? So I sat there and it was so much energy, my God. So by not acting from the egoic place, by not trying to win, by not getting involved in all that and just meditating on the Shakti, feeling it, it became super strong. And I recalled I had read something from the Radiant Sutras about a sting of a wasp and any kind of pain or anger or anything like that, drop the story and feel the energy. So, wow, the two things I had contemplated that week were dovetailing right into this workshop. How awesome. So that was it. I was just feeling the Shakti. I dropped all the story, the feeling of persecution, the feeling of this is rude, I'm not being respected, how dare they, who do they think they are, all that stuff. To let it all go, I mean, it's all BS anyway. Ego talk, and just feel. That's the reality. So I just felt. And even though some slings and barbs were still coming my way after hours, well, I was just sitting there spinning most of the time while everyone else was participating. So, but they didn't want to just leave me be. They would keep poking. And every time they poked, and I could feel like the ego arise, wanting to defend, attack, explain, justify, I just didn't do that. I was like, I am not moving, and I am not acting on that. And of course, the energy became more and more and more powerful. Yeah. So it's like that. When we follow the Shakti GPS, we have unlimited energy. And when we act from our ego, we fuel the drama and the trauma, and we create karma. Yeah. Om Jema, Om Jema, Om. There is only love. One being, one light, one love, I am. Om Ashri, Bhakta A Om Shakti Ma, Hail Mary, full of grace. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Another story illustrating this similar vibe. I had been in an intense period in my sadhana, cloistered up at home, early days in this chaos that's going on in the default world. And, okay, everything shut down. I just meditate more and go deeper inside. And during this period, there was a lot of Krishna Radha energy. So beautiful and fun. So much love and joy and singing and dancing. And I don't know, after about 5-6 weeks of this, someone I know was throwing a kirtan at their house. I was so excited. All this things going on over here, and I just want to celebrate and dance with other people and spread the joy and the love. And it's great at home alone, but also great to go to a kirtan. And I went, and Shakti was just wild. They would sing Om Namah Shivaya, I would sing Jai Mata Kali, or they would sing Jai Mata Kali and I'd sing Om Ma Jai Jai Ma, or whatever. So I just couldn't stay to the mantras that were being sung. All sorts of mantras were coming out because the Shakti was just doing it. And I didn't even think I knew what was happening, that this might be disturbing for people. But I was feeling so much joy and love and celebrating, I just thought, it's okay, it's okay. And the musicians were trying to keep up with the wildness, and I was sitting pretty close to the front, so I couldn't even hide in the back. I didn't want to, actually. And I got told off a couple times about that. And, it's kind of like a nightmare from when you're a child. Like you're acting in a completely inappropriate way and you don't even realize it, and people are saying bad things about you. And you only meant well. And to be totally okay with that. I knew what was happening to some extent when it was happening. And I was pretty sure that, as sure as one can be, that's what was happening. It was happening in, around, and through me. And to let the Shakti do what she wants. And if people want to be pissed off about that, or they want to dance and they want to sing, or whatever, that's up to them. And even if they want to throw you out, or never invite you again, or condemn you, that's okay too. All you can do is just check in every moment that whatever is expressing is coming as best as you can discern and feel and intuit from the Shakti and not from your ego. If it's your ego's worst nightmare, then probably it's not coming from your ego. That's my yardstick, If it really is triggering me and I don't want to do it and it's my worst nightmare and I'm getting this strong impetus to go or express, then probably, got to surrender into that. Om Jai Ma. There is only love. And that's the point, no? There is only love. The kirtan, the workshop, over here, over there, the ground of awareness, the medium of expression, the communication, the planets, the stars, the streams, the mountains. Only love. So everything matters, of course, but in another respect, nothing matters. It all matters and nothing matters. Om Jai Baba. Bhakta Om Shakti. Can you be comfortable dancing to the beat of Kali's 2 feet? It's a beat that no one might understand or hear, but can you be comfortable dancing to the beat of Kali's 2 feet? Om Shakti. The ones, who said that? It was Wittgenstein? No. Nietzsche? Nietzsche. He was one of those German philosophers. That the ones who could not hear the music thought the ones who could hear the music, that thought them to be crazy. And to be a bhakta, to be a Kali bhakta, is a real Crazy path, but crazy in a good way. Crazy in love, crazy in joy, crazy in embodiment, crazy in celebration, crazy in expression, live wire and so much energy. Yeah, free, unlimited energy. You are energy. So of course, a little wildness, breaking conditioning for you and sometimes for the people around you, acting as a vessel, as a servant to Kundalini, to Kali, serving Kali, serving Kundalini. So one first has to serve it within before one can even think about serving it in your fellow brothers and sisters. What kind of servant would you be for the other if you're not even a servant for Shakti within you? So yeah, service goes with bhakti, with devotion, with humility, with surrender, with love and joy. Service, you want to spread the love and spread the joy. To have this love and joy inside you is awesome. And whether anyone else down with that, connects with that, understands that, feels that, knows that, accepts that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yet, always nice to celebrate with others. There's more Shakti in it. Yeah, you feel, even from these beautiful live streams, every time someone joins or send hearts, I feel the Shakti in it, you know? So Shakti loves a good celebration with lots of attention. Yeah. And then it becomes more powerful. The more we all commune at an individual level, it becomes more powerful. And at a collective level, it becomes more powerful. The more people meditating on Shakti, meditating on Kundalini, the more people going through a Kundalini awakening, the more people supporting one another going through a Kundalini awakening, the more people who understand and are pursuing that path and putting attention on the Kundalini awakening supports the collective, of course. Just like when you put attention on your own awakening, it supports your development and your blossoming. And that's the secret sauce. Putting attention on Ma and not me. See where all these stories were going? The dime's dropping. Now see it's how it's all being tied together by Ma. I had no idea where any of this is going, of course, but now it's all dropping down in perfect timing right before I have to leave. So do you see? Do you see the tapestry? Did you see the live demonstration of Ma's love of the tapestry? It's all about Ma, Ma, Ma. We could say source, source, source. And not me, 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 the ego. That's what all those stories, the Shakti GPS, the Kirtan, the workshop, all the other things that were shared. It's about putting your attention on Ma, on this divine love or divine light, however way you relate to that. I relate to it as Ma, the divine feminine, Kali. And not what I want, what I desire, what my plan is, all that other stuff. I just reorient myself, Ma, Ma, Ma. If I'm thinking about me, 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 it's contracting, it's limiting, it's distorted. And if I'm feeling and attracted and acting from Ma, Ma, Ma best I can, magic happens. Magic, magic. What's Ma's plan? What's going to happen? You know, just you feel the impetus and you go with it, and who knows what's going to happen. And isn't that awesome? I mean, we have no idea what's going to happen anyway. So might as well just go full in for the mystery, accept the mystery, celebrate the mystery, enjoy the mystery, be one with the mystery. Yeah. It's not a question of becoming Kali, the goddess, with the tongue and all that stuff, although it can be. It's a question of becoming the highest, best God version of yourself, however that expresses. And we're here to nurture you, Yes, you, dear viewer. The over here would like to nurture over there so that you can be your full potential, so that your Kundalini awakening can be joyous and loving and easier than it might be in other paths or alone. We can apply our Shakti GPSs together to make an even more harmonious awakening, the movement into the next phase of your development and of the human being's evolution. Together, all together, all together. We are one being, one light. No one, no thing, nobody. Only love. Do you want to know yourself as love? Do you want to know yourself as grace? Do you want to know yourself as joy? Do you want to know your highest, highest, highest self? Are you satisfied with the limitations of the ego and of the dominant construct? Or do you sense in your heart that there is something so much more vast, so much more beautiful, so much more joyous, waiting to be expressed both within and without you? The new earth starts in your heart. The new humanity starts in your heart. The secret sauce is love. Your love in your heart. That's where it all starts. Oma, Jema, Vama. Oma, Jema, Vama. Om Shakti. Thank you so much for joining. We'll be here again tomorrow. If you missed the beginning of the broadcast, you can catch the whole recording on Instagram, on YouTube, and on Facebook. So don't worry if you missed some stuff and you want to see the whole thing. And however you want to interact with this material, whether it's doing the dishes or playing with the kids or meditating or doing asana practice or whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter what I've said. There's no points being made. It's not about that. It's just a stream of consciousness, a stream of love that tuning you to it. And that stream of love is who you are at the deepest level. Om Ma Jai Ma. Thanks for joining. Om.